You are a senior writer and editor at Forbes. So let's start from the story. Well, how'd you get there?
Right, I'm originally from North Philly.
Okay.
And so it stopped. Appreciate that. Thank you. And it started there. You know, as a kid, understanding I wasn't going to be in the NBA. Right. I didn't have that skill set. And it's like, okay, what's next? And I decided that journalism was it for me. And so back then, you know, you pick up the newspaper and underneath the news, the bylines, they got the numbers. And I'm like, well, who's this dude, Stephen A? And I call up the number. And bam, Stephen A picks up. And that changed the trajectory because learning under him when he was back covering the Sixers in Philly, you know, you kind of understand what you can be. And so I'm looking at him on billboards and just following him. And that kind of motivated me. And then in 2013, I get an opportunity to go to San Antonio, cover San Antonio Spurs. And that obviously boosts my trajectory. Spent the year in Portland, covered the Blazers in there. And then in 2019, I get a call from CNBC. And they say, hey, you want to cover business? And I'm like, I don't want to cover no business. I don't know what those are the number with the channels, the numbers at the bottom. And it was Stephen A who called me and said, man, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You need to really stop and think about it. I was happy in San Antonio, but I was missing the big picture. And he allowed me to see that to his credit. And then that turned into an opportunity in 2022 and Forbes said, hey, you want to come over here and do that? And I said, yeah.
What was the first conversation after that? Like, what was the breakdown and build back up like for you with him?
Well, you know, that was a rough conversation to have. I was pulling into my aunt's house in Dallas, visiting her, and I get the call late at night, and he's like, yo, man, CNBC's calling me up, and they, you know, because I put him as a reference. What's this about? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just, you know, I'm down in San Antonio. I like covering the Spurs. I just broke the Kawhi Leonard joint, and, you know, and Arce Buford. Yeah, you know, all that, right? All that, Charlamagne, you know. And so he says, you know, Jabari Young, the hell with that. The Spurs ain't going to do a damn thing for you. And so I'm looking at the phone like, damn, why Stephen A talking to me like this? I'm kind of like, you know, taken aback. And then, you know, but when a mentor talks to you like that, then that's when you really got to say, damn, he's only doing that because he cares.
Say it again.
He's doing it because he cares.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to hear those things that you don't want to hear. That's true mentorship.
What did you say to him that you think made him be like, all right, you know, pull up to the...
Hey, man, can you teach me? I want to learn under you. Like, can you just, you know... But at that time, Charlamagne, like, you know, it was a different time, right? Yeah. Stephen A wasn't Stephen A then. You know, we knew him in Philly because his name was all over the place and his face was on the billboards, but we didn't know of him as what y'all see now. He was just a guy in Philly. He was big. So he was more accessible. I had to talk to him on his two-way pager, right? Back in the day. That's when two-way pages existed. And so, like, you know, I just went up to him and said, hey, man, like, can you teach me? But not only that one time. That stuff builds relationships. And so when you do want to pick up the phone and say, hey, man, you know where's an opportunity for a job? You got those answers because it was Stephen A who introduced you to a guy named Mike Bruton. Mike Bruton knows a guy named Mike Larry. Mike Larry was at the Enquirer, now in San Antonio. One call gets made on my behalf. Bam, I'm in San Antonio. And my career changes.
Ha! YouTube, I know y'all pissed off right now. Okay, another clip, but we're on Netflix, man. Stop acting like y'all don't have motherfucking Netflix. I'm sick of y'all acting like y'all don't have Netflix. It actually disgusts me. If it was any other paywall, I would completely understand. Netflix been around just as long as The Breakfast Club. It's on everybody's remote controls. It's in hotel rooms. You got Netflix. Talking about, we ain't paying for Breakfast Club. You paid for Diddy Doc. You paid for Stranger Things. You paid to watch Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. You know why you paid? Because you've been paying for Netflix for the last 15 years. It's not like, you know, Breakfast Club is on there now, so now we charging you more money to watch. Just go to the podcast section. Click on the podcast section, type in Breakfast Club, and everything be right there. Donkey of the day, the full interview, whatever you looking for, the full episode. Go do it, man. Okay? It's just change. That's all. Change is good. Have a great day. Every January, we set intentions and make resolutions. But by February, a lot of those goals start falling off. Not because we don't want it, but because we think taking that next step is going to be so hard, especially when it comes to starting a new business. That's why I rock with Shopify. If you're finally ready to invest in yourself and start that business, Shopify makes things simple. And if you already have a business, trust me, Shopify can handle anything you throw its way. That's one of the reasons we moved our stores there. Whether you're selling a few products or a full catalog, Shopify grows with you. One login gets you everything. No password chaos, thousands of site templates mean you don't need to be a designer and your site still looks uniquely yours. They even have Shopify Sidekick, AI that actually helps with marketing, planning, and all the back-end business stuff. They even help you sell on social media and even directly through ChatGPT. Starting a business is hard, but it's worth it. Trust me, I know. Don't be one of those people who let their dreams die early. Let Shopify help you and thank yourself later for not giving up. It's time for you to invest in your own business, not someone else's for a change. Head on over to shopify.com/breakfast club and see what it feels like to be the one in control of your future.